want some balance in my life, but I never really put up a fight. Didn't follow my dreams, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow.
Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. So I was trying to figure out how I'm going to get this recorded. So I have you up high, so hopefully you can see down low. So what I'm about to do is can some, well actually I have to cook it first, some pork butt, pork shoulder. Some people call it that, pork shoulder. I have two of them here. I don't know if two is gonna fit in my crock pot, so I may end up only doing one at a time. But I do have to clean these first. I'm gonna spare you me cleaning them. I'm just gonna tell you that I clean mine with water and lemon juice and vinegar. And if it's a lot of fat on it, then I will shake some of that fat off, but I will leave some on there because y'all know that's where that flavor is coming from. So I just got through chopping up 2 whole onions because I'm going to layer these at the bottom of my crock pot, and then I'm gonna layer some on the top. But because these are really big onions that I'm using, it only takes 1 onion per these 2 shoulders that I have here to do. And I'm gonna just split it in half. So what I'm saying is half of this will go on the bottom, half of this will go on the top for each of the meat. So what I'm using, you can use what you want to use. This is what I'm using to cook mine with. I don't know if I'm going to use this like my mama, but I do have it out. Onion powder, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, lemon pepper, Tony Chachere's garlic powder, thyme, a little bit of turmeric. I use turmeric in almost everything I cook now because one, the health benefits of it are great, and this helps with my pain from my lupus and my fibromyalgia and arthritis. And then basil leaves, the fine ones. And forgot my sea salt right here. So I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and I'm using the Sweet Baby Ray's Sweet Golden Mustard Barbecue Sauce. I wanted to use my father-in-law sauce, but my husband did cook before he left, and we are out. We are out. This is all we have left of my father-in-law sauce. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put those in these jars and shake them up so that I can at least have some of that flavor on there, because I tell you, he makes the best barbecue sauce ever. So shout out to him. That jar was very sticky. So let me get my meat cleaned up so that I can go ahead and I'm gonna see if it fits in there and see if I can fit 2 in there. If not, then once that one cooks, then I'll do the next set. Okay, so I have the first one washed and clean, and I tell you, when you use this vinegar, I use white vinegar, and I don't know why I put the top back on there, and lemon juice to clean it. This pork had the smell of pickled pig feet. I remember eating that when I was younger, and especially when I was like pregnant. I always loved to eat pickled pig feet, and my craving was pickled pig feet and a Yoo-hoo chocolate drink every day. Then I watched the stories at like 1 o'clock, Days of Our Lives. So because this one, I decided to bring you back because I want this to be more of a tutorial than anything. But please, by all means, use, I need a different knife, use your ball book. Okay, use your ball book. It is so important. Know your elevations and all of that stuff with it. It's good to watch people because I love watching other channels, and then I tweak what I'm gonna do. So this is a lot of fat. I'm gonna leave some of it on there, but this was just too much. Too much. Notice I changed up the knife. And I hope this is not a long video, but we're all here to learn. Leave your tips and your ideas of how you might do yours for other people in the comments, because my way might not be the way you want to do it. I just know that's too much fat. I love cooking pulled pork, but this is my first time canning pulled pork. I've been putting it off. Like most things, we all put things off in life. But things are getting much worse out there. And all of these blackouts, and you just want to get ahead of it as much as you possibly can. A couple of you have been asking me to show you more canning videos, because honestly, it just takes a lot to set up and get your angles, how you want to do it. So I just can, and I don't really show it. But I haven't canned a lot of meat, so. I've done chili, I've done hamburger meat. I want to do chicken just to see if I will like the texture of it, because you don't always like the texture of canned meat, especially if you're a texture person. Okay, so I do like to dab up my, I treat it like a little baby, and try to get some excess water off of it. So now we're gonna get to seasoning. Oh, I need to get some more paper towels up here. Hold on, y'all. I gotta drink my detox. It isn't the best thing, but it's been working. I'm down 5 pounds, okay? I was 197, now I'm 192. Okay, so this is already heating up. I'm gonna put, and this is optional, you don't have to, but because I'm putting a bed of onions down there, I like to just put a little bit of oil in there, not a lot, just enough. And then I start adding my onions to the bottom. Now I'm gonna place, and I can only get one in here, so I'm gonna have to do the other one later. I will put onions on the top. It's a little pork shoulder Oreo. So usually at this point, I will put the lid on here and just cook it and then add my sauce later. But since I am canning these, I'm gonna use the remainder of this sauce that my father-in-law made. I'm adding this Sweet Baby Ray's to it. I'll do the same thing over here. And I'm gonna add some water to these jars. Just like that. So now I don't have to add any broth. For the second one. Second one that I do when this one gets done. So that means I'm gonna be canning all night long. And it is just 1:10 p.m. Okay, so close up, you see I have all of that in there. All of that is gonna go into the jars, you guys. So we're gonna let this cook for about, what is it, 1, 2, 3. We're gonna let this cook for 4 hours and check it again. And it's cooking on high. Have it on high. So I'm gonna put the other one back in the refrigerator because I don't need it right now. Okay guys, I just got back from running errands and going to the store. When I tell you those stores did not look good, y'all better get some food on your shelf. So this has actually been cooking for, what I did at 5 hours now. So I'm just gonna break this meat apart. If you can see, it is coming apart. Okay. It is tender, but I need to break it all apart. And then I'm gonna let it cook for another 30 minutes to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, just depends. But just let it cook for about 45 minutes because you want all of that nice, oh, look at that. Oh, you want all of that nice barbecue sauce to cook in the meat even more while it's broken up. And y'all, you can do this with chicken if you don't eat pork. Homestead Heart, I watched a couple people do the pulled barbecue, but she's not eating pork, so she did chicken. And that is going to be something that I do as well. So my timer has gone off. It's been 30 minutes since I shredded this meat down. If you can see it here, I'll try to zoom you in later if I don't forget when I'm editing. But it tastes really good. And if you see another piece in there that needs to be just shredded on down. So I have this on low now. It was on high. So I'm gonna cover that round back up. I have my jars in my water bath canner right here. And I only have this lid on here just to help bring that water up to get it hotter than it is. And then I have this canner on right here. This is what I will be putting the jars in once I fill them up with the pulled pork. The second one that I'm going to can when I get, it'll probably be Sunday when I do that one, because I'm gonna be up late with this one, will be this one right here. I want to have it 2 different ways. I mean, everybody in here likes it both ways, so I'll be back, you guys. So I forgot to add that once I stopped recording, I added the Worcestershire sauce directly in the crock pot on top of the meat. The the minute I put it in there, and I said, oh my God, I didn't put the Worcestershire sauce on it. So however you add it is just fine. Just add it to it and it'll cook right in. You see how I shredded this up right here. I had my child taste it and it was too tart, because mustard sauce is usually tart, mustard barbecue sauce. So I added some brown sugar. Usually I base my pork shoulder in brown sugar, but I did not do that either. So I added some brown sugar to it, and I'm just going through seeing if I have any fat in there that I need to take out. I already took some out and I put it in this cup right here, so that once I start putting them into jars, it's not an issue. So now I'm about to start my pot. I'm using my Presto pressure canner, and I will be putting at least, well, enough to warm these jars up. They don't have to be super hot, but they do need to be warm. And once I start canning, I will have about 2 inches of water in my Presto. Check your book and see what you're supposed to have though. Okay, so I have my lid simmering in a pot. Now they're saying that you don't need to do this anymore. That's what they're saying, but I'm not doing it. And when I say they, I mean ball. Okay, so over here, I have my water, and when you add your jars to it, when they're full, then the water's gonna raise up a little bit, but you don't want the water to go over your lids, because we are not water bath canning. We are simply, I shouldn't say simply, but we are pressure canning, and you want the steam to be able to flow through. So when you're taking your jars out, please be careful. You're gonna use your jar lifter, which is what I have in my hand, and just sit it down like that and go get the next one. However many you're gonna fill at the same time. So I'm gonna do 6 first. That way I know what I'm dealing with. So I hope you can make out everything that I have going on here. I'm just gonna use my tongs, and that's how I'm gonna put this into these jars. Okay, first thing first, I have my jars, which are hot. I have my pork, or whatever meat you're doing, which is hot. Hot into hot, cold into cold. Now I'm gonna be using my funnel right here. I also have my debubbler, and I have my jar lifter, because that water over there is still hot with my lids. So what you're going to do is, let's just go through the process. Let's just go through the process, and then I'm gonna speed it up, okay? Just be careful. That piece needs to be broke up a little bit more. So I'm filling the jars up to 1 inch head space. If I need to add a little bit of the sauce later, I will try to get it with my spoon that I can put to the side. And I'm seeing this is gonna be messy probably. If you need to take more out, if you get up to that 1 inch and you go over, then do that. So I moved on to using a serrated spoon, you know, the one with the holes in it. Just make sure you're mixing it up really well. Getting any bubbles out. So I'm gonna add to these two. Sorry, that's my youngest child. Like they know that you're recording. But they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Ooh, that's hot, hot, hot. Let me put it down. Ooh. What was I thinking? Just gonna. Now you're gonna take your white distilled vinegar. And the reason I'm showing you step by step is because I had a few people say that they're just learning and I don't want them to be afraid. Just follow your steps and be careful because it is hot. It is hot. You want to wipe around the rim here and on the top of it to get any kind of juice or droppings that might be on this glass. And y'all, when I tell you these, they hot. They hot, they hot. And like Aaliyah said, hot like fire. But we gotta do it. We gotta do it. Okay. I just wanna make sure. Let's see, I need to add a little bit to that one. Just a little bit. I've been recording so much today. My phone stopped. I had to delete a lot of the footage that I already had. I've already uploaded and stuff like that. So now you got this right here, all wiped and cleaned. You're gonna take your magnet, if you have a magnet. If you don't, because I didn't when I first started. If the water was hot, it's not too bad right now. I just used a fork and just put it on there just like that. So we debubbled and we wiped our rims. I'm gonna show you. Just so you can see what I'm saying. I just took my fork and I went in my pot. And I probably can't do it with this one. And I just picked it up like that. So, I mean, work with what you got. Work with what you got. My water's not extremely hot right now. It's just a little warm, but I'm trying not to put my hands all over it. Like you can touch your lids, but don't touch anything on this side of it. So if you grab your little time in there. Now when you put your rings on, you're just going to fingertip tight, put them on like so, not, you know, just fingertip tight. Hold on. I was making sure my water wasn't bubbling because I don't want it bubbling. I just want it hot. And we're gonna bring it up to temp once we get these jars in. I hope this video is helpful to you. I intend to do more videos. And if it is, please, by all means, don't forget to hit the like button and let YouTube know that you liked it. And if you didn't like it, that's fine. That's fine too. It might not be for you. Okay, so now we're gonna head over to the canner and get these in. So you have a nice jar of pulled pork, and see how I'm putting that in there and the water's not over. When I put all of them in, if the water is over the rim, you just take a spoon and take some of that water out. You didn't mess anything up, you're good. Now you could do this before you do everything else, so it'll be fine, but I didn't. So after I wash my stuff, well, I'll show you over here. So you can take this gasket off if it will be easier for you. You can use olive oil, you can use Vaseline, some people use Vaseline, you can use cooking oil, whatever you want to use. Just make sure you are oiling your gasket and the top part of your canner, along with this part right up in here, because the last thing you want is when you're done canning for it not to come off. I've heard so many horror stories, and I'm praying that that never happens to me, because then you've lost your whole batch of whatever you made. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm just gonna take the same one, not gonna add any extra to it because it's good, and just pop it right back in there. And it's nothing to it, just popping it in like that. Always check to make sure your nut is tight on there, because you don't want that coming off. That's holding your dial right there. Check your gauge, make sure it's on 0. Make sure that your vent, you can see through it. And I can see my door. And if you can't see through it, you can take like a toothpick and just go up in there and take it out. So everything looks good. I've already checked right here. So we are ready to put this on once I oil up the top part of my pot. So let's go back to the stove. So I am really and truly trying to be as thorough as I can in explaining this to you and not making it seem difficult than it needs to be, because some of the people that I've watched, they explain in detail, and that is helpful for people down the road who may see your video. You want them, now everyone won't be the same. Now see how that water is over the top of the lid? I'm gonna take some of that water out. Okay. So I'm actually going to put another one in there just because I don't want them to fall over. You're just gonna line that arrow that's right here up with the arrow that's on here. And it's okay if you gotta jiggle it to get it where it needs to be. All right, so now we good. Turn your heat up to high. And we want to wait until we see consistent steam coming out of the vent for 10 minutes. So once the steam starts coming out, put your timer on for 10 minutes. And then once the 10 minutes is done, you can add your weight. So it's been 10 minutes. You can see it's consistently steaming. We're just gonna take our weight right here and put it on top. Okay, we got our weight on. We're gonna let this come up to our pounds per pressure. I'm over 1,000 elevation, so for me it is 11. For you it may be something different, so please check either your Ball book or call your local extension and they can tell you if you don't know. Once it gets up to whatever your desired pressure PSI is supposed to be for where you are, for me it's 11 like I said. Once it gets there, then I'll start my timer for 75 minutes because I am doing pints. If you're doing quarts, then you would do 1 hour and 30 minutes. I'm already starting on my second round of chopped barbecue. Remember I said it's going to be with this right here, and I won't be recording this. It's the same process. I have my brown sugar sitting on top. I'm about to go ahead and rub this all over and put it in the crock pot. Yeah, it's gonna be a long night. Okay, so this is where we are on the gauge. We're not quite at pressure yet. And I just put the second one in the crock pot, and I threw some brown sugar on top of it. I'm about to cover it up. It's on high, and it's gonna be cooking for a good 4, maybe 5 hours. Okay, 75 minutes is up. We held pretty good there. So what you're gonna do now is let it go down to 0. Do not open anything up until your dial is at 0. Don't even take your weight off until then. Okay guys, I can't remember, did I? I can't remember, did I record it? Oh yeah, I did, okay. Can't remember, I'm so tired. Okay, so I already took the lid off. It's still hot. So when you're opening your lid, open it away from you so you're not getting the steam directly in your face. Now I'm about to take these out and place them on the counter. They're already pinging, which means they sealed. So let me take them out so you can see what they look like. And y'all go ahead and get out there and can and stock your shelves, okay? This food shortage is going to be worse than we could ever imagine. There we go. Right. Okay, we are done. We have sealed. They all sealed while they were sitting in the canner. And that's the first batch. I have 7 here. You know, I had one that wasn't all the way full. So I have 7 that's gonna go on my shelf tomorrow. These will sit out overnight. I will clean up the jars and get them straight to put up on the shelves at some point, either Sunday or Monday. Now I'm on to my second batch. Y'all have a good night. It is late. I'm gonna be up late. See you in the next video.